My boyfriend demanded I give up my savings to help him start a business, saying, if you loved me, you'd invest in my future. When I refused, he transferred the money from my account without asking and smirked, "Too late, babe." I stared at my bank app, took a deep breath, and said, "Then let's see how jail looks on you." I'm a 34-year-old nurse living in San Diego, California. Over the years, I've diligently saved $45,000, envisioning a secure future. Enter Marcus, a charismatic man with dreams of launching a fitness apparel line. He claimed to have the designs and contacts, but lacked the capital. He often said, if you loved me, you'd invest in my future. Despite my reservations, I declined his request to invest. One day, I discovered $30,000 missing from my account. Marcus smirked and said, "Too late, babe." I was devastated. I immediately changed all my passwords, alerted my bank, and filed a police report for theft. Remembering that Marcus had once given me access to his email, I checked and found incriminating emails detailing his plans and bragging about securing funds from me. I compiled all the evidence and handed it over to the police. Marcus was arrested and charged with theft and fraud. He claimed it was a misunderstanding, but the evidence was clear. The court sentenced him to 2 years in prison and ordered him to pay restitution. I recovered my money, but the emotional toll was immense. This experience taught me the importance of trust and financial independence. I've since become an advocate for financial literacy, especially for women. Marcus's betrayal was a painful lesson, but it made me stronger. When Marcus got arrested, I thought the worst part was over. I had the police report the emails, the texts. The bank froze his account. The cops took him in. But the thing about people like Marcus, they don't go down quietly. The night after he got arrested, his sister showed up at my apartment. I opened the door, and she pushed her way in without asking. "You didn't have to go this far," she said. "You ruined his life." I didn't say anything at first. She stood in my living room like she owned it. Then she added, "He told me you were in on it. That the business was your idea too. You're just mad because it didn't work out." I was shaking. "He stole from me." She rolled her eyes. "You lived with him. You had his passwords. You could have stopped him. You didn't because you wanted it to fail." I told her to leave. She didn't. I had to call the cops again. They showed up and made her leave, but she yelled the whole way out, calling me a traitor, a liar, a manipulator. After that, things got worse. Someone slashed my tires a week later. No cameras in the parking lot. No proof it was her or one of his friends. But I knew. Then the emails started. Fake job applications sent in my name. My phone number signed up for weird ads. One day my hospital's HR called me in. Someone had emailed them saying I was stealing drugs from work. Of course, it wasn't true, and they didn't believe it. But it was embarrassing. People started whispering, looking at me different. I started documenting everything, every email, every text, every voicemail. I bought a new dashcam, set up a motion sensor camera by my door. My apartment turned into a mini surveillance hub. I wasn't just living anymore. I was collecting evidence, breathing proof. When the court date finally came, Marcus showed up in a cheap suit, looking like a sad version of the guy I used to know. But when he saw me, he smirked. The same exact smirk from when he stole the money. The trial wasn't quick. His lawyer dragged things out. Claimed we had a verbal agreement. That I had offered the money, and now I was trying to back out. They even printed out an old chat where I'd said, "Maybe someday I'll help you fund it." See? The lawyer said. She was in on it. This isn't theft. This is a lover's quarrel turned cold. I sat there frozen. But I had the bank timestamps, the emails he sent bragging to his friend, the screenshot where he texted someone else. She said no, so I helped myself. The judge didn't buy it. Marcus got sentenced. 2 years. I thought it was over again. Then the letters started coming. He was writing to me from jail. At first, they were just letters. "I'm sorry. I miss you. Please don't hate me. Then they got darker. I won't be in here forever. People remember who ruins their lives. You'll regret this. I filed a restraining order. But prison letters are still legal. He wasn't technically violating anything. Then one day, I got a phone call from an unknown number. I answered. Silence. Then a whisper. You think you're safe? I moved apartments. I changed my number. I got a new job in a different city. But even now, I check over my shoulder in parking lots. I sleep with a baseball bat under my bed. I watch the mail closely. And the worst part? I still see that smirk when I close my eyes. 6 months after I moved to Long Beach to start over, I got a new number, new job, new apartment. I left everything behind, friends, coworkers, my old routine. I even started therapy because I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing that whisper in my head, you think you're safe? It stuck with me like gum on the bottom of a shoe. I worked the night shift at a smaller hospital. It was quiet, slower than San Diego. For a while, I actually believed I was putting it behind me. Then, my debit card got declined at the grocery store. I checked my bank account and saw a charge I didn't make. A $249 charge at a gas station back in San Diego. Then another for $87 at a convenience store near my old place. I froze. It was like someone reached into my past and yanked me back in. I called the bank. They canceled the card, refunded the money. But the fraud team said something weird. Looks like it was a physical card swipe. Do you still have the card? Yes. In my wallet. Right in front of me. I felt sick. I called the detective who worked Marcus' case. He said Marcus didn't have internet access in prison, but that didn't mean he didn't have outside help. The same sister who barged into my apartment still lived in San Diego. I checked her social media. She'd been oddly quiet for months. No posts, no selfies, just resharing old photos. Then I noticed something else. She was working at a gym downtown. The same gym Marcus had always talked about investing in. That gym was listed as the shipping address on one of the fraudulent transactions per the bank's investigation. I reported it all again. The cops started digging. One night after my shift, I found a small box outside my door. No label, just a plain brown box, taped shut. I didn't touch it. Called the police. They opened it with gloves on. Inside was a single item. One of my old necklaces. The one Marcus gave me for our anniversary. I had left it behind in the old apartment when I moved. The apartment had been cleaned and rented out again. How did it end up here? They pulled fingerprints from the box. They found his sister's. She got arrested for harassment, stalking, and mail tampering. Turns out she'd been working with Marcus the whole time, helping him reach out, send messages, and mess with me from the outside. And then came the worst part. During her interrogation, she admitted Marcus had a burner phone in prison. Hidden, used by multiple inmates. She said he used it for emergencies only. One of those emergencies? Hiring someone to scare me. I got full police protection after that. My job put me on leave. I stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks under another name while they investigated. Turns out the guy Marcus had contacted never followed through, thank God. He didn't like the idea of hurting a woman. He came forward after Marcus stopped paying the promised installments from his commissary. He handed over the messages, and they were ugly. She ruined me. I want her to know what fear feels like. She thinks jail protects her. Let's show her it doesn't. That was the last straw. The DA added more charges. Marcus' sentence doubled, but none of it brought peace. I had a panic button on my phone. I changed my locks again. I gave up therapy. What was the point when I never felt safe anyway? But one day, I checked my email and saw a name I hadn't seen in a long time. Marcus' mom. Subject, please read. She said she hadn't spoken to him in over a year. Said she heard what he did. Said she never raised him to be this way. She apologized, begged me to forgive the damage he caused. She offered to pay me back the legal fees I'd spent trying to stay safe. Then she said something that shook me. I want you to know something important. Marcus wasn't always this way. After his dad died, something changed in him. But I'm telling you, there are things even I didn't know about until recently. There are people he owed money to, people who are still out there. Be careful. That was 3 weeks ago. Now, every time a car drives by slowly, I watch. When a package arrives, I open it with gloves. I'm not waiting for closure anymore. I'm waiting for the next move. 3 weeks after that email, I got a call from an unknown number again. This time, a voice I didn't recognize spoke clearly. You think it's over? Click. No whisper. No threat. Just a quiet reminder that someone out there still had my name in their mouth. I took the email from Marcus's mom seriously. I went to a private investigator. Paid out of pocket. I was tired of waiting for the next surprise. I needed to know who else Marcus had dragged into this mess. The PI found something. Marcus had borrowed money. A lot of it. From a guy named Rico. A mid-level guy in San Diego, someone who kept things quiet but made threats if you didn't pay. According to the PI, Marcus owed him close to $10,000 before he got arrested. And when Marcus didn't pay, Rico came knocking on other doors. That's when his sister got pulled into it. Not because she believed in Marcus, but because Rico threatened her too. She had debts of her own. It all started to fit. The threats, the box with the necklace, the messages. None of it was just about revenge. It was about pressure. Rico wanted his money back. And since Marcus was in jail, he went after the one person Marcus had tied himself to me. I felt something shift in me that day. Something broke. I was done running. Done hiding. Done playing defense. I called the detective handling Marcus's extended charges and told him everything the PI found. I gave them Rico's name, his location, his connection to Marcus and his sister. The detective said, "You're putting yourself in danger." I said, "Not if you move fast." A week later, Rico's house was raided. Guns. Fake IDs. A list of names, one of them was mine. Another was Marcus's sister. Rico got arrested on multiple charges, including attempted extortion and conspiracy. The sister cut a deal. She turned over everything. Her messages with Marcus, the photos of me she'd sent Rico, even a list Marcus had made while in jail. A revenge list. My name was at the top. They moved Marcus to solitary confinement after that. He wasn't allowed visitors, mail, or phone calls. His sentence was increased again. But that wasn't enough for me. I contacted a journalist. A local one. She ran a segment on financial abuse, revenge, and the loopholes in prison monitoring. She didn't use my real name, but she got the details right. The news picked it up. Suddenly, Marcus's name wasn't just buried in court documents, it was in headlines. Fitness scammer turns stalker behind bars. His business dream? Dead in the water. The lawyer who had defended him before issued a statement saying he regretted taking the case. His mom wrote me again. She said, "I don't even know who my son is anymore." I wrote back one line, "Now you do." After that, I moved again. Not out of fear, but for peace. I bought a small house up north, Oregon coast. Quiet, green, peaceful. And then I did something I never thought I'd do. I opened a new savings account. I named it Too Late Babe. It's where I put every dollar I earn from speaking at women's shelters, finance workshops, and online courses about financial abuse and safety. I tell my story, every ugly part of it, every mistake I made. Because I did make mistakes. I ignored red flags. I stayed too long. I gave too much trust. But I also fought back. And I made sure he'll never do this to anyone else again. And if he ever gets out, if he ever thinks he can crawl out of whatever hole he's in and come looking, well, let's just say I've learned how to be 10 steps ahead. And I don't smirk. I smile.